My friends over at Arabus are back with a new field watch. This one gets a really cool trick up its sleeve, a true 24-hour dial, and I'll show you what I'm talking about during the video. There's a very short pre-order period for this watch. They're coming out with it in a number of different colors. I have what I think is the best dial to show you guys, so let's flip the camera and take a look hands-on at Arabus's latest watch, the 24-hour field watch. Now, I know other brands have done this. There are vintage examples of watches with a very similar functionality, but this is the first time that I've seen it in a field watch. What this is essentially a Miyota 9000 series with a module on top, and it's not an incredibly complicated module, but it does sit on top of the watch, and it allows to use, I believe it is the date function, but I'm not 100% sure about that, but I believe it is the date function, and it is tied to the indices. So underneath, this is essentially a sandwich dial. Underneath this dial is a disc, and there is a 24-hour track on that disc. That disc changes every 12 hours. So you have a true 24-hour dial on a watch that doesn't look cluttered. So the real benefit of this, and one of the reasons why I don't like a lot of field watches, is because you end up getting either a 12-hour dial or a 24-hour dial. Then there's a track on the inside of the indices that's usually another 24-hour track or a 12-hour track depending on the dial. And then always there's some other element on the dial that really clutter it up. This cleans it up completely, and not only that, it's so easy to read. This is the true way that a military watch should be read. I don't think it's gimmicky. I think this is something that kind of makes sense, and like I said, surprising that no one has done it before. This is a very straightforward design from Arabus. When you look at the case, it is a stainless steel case. It is primarily brushed and bead blasted. You have a bezel that is very steep. You have a sapphire crystal that is just slightly raised off of the case. You have a very large and very grippy crown. Like I was saying, this has a Miyota 9000 series in it, so it's pretty thin. It does have that module on top, so that does thicken the watch and the movement just a little bit. You do have a solid case back that is screwed in, and it just has circular brushing on it, and that is it. Slightly curved ends on the strap. This one gets a brown leather strap, which is like a cav leather strap. This is the brown dial, and I have to say, this is probably my favorite out of the bunch because it's just like a chocolate brown, a very dark brown. And in the center, there's a sand texture. You have a crosshair. It says Arabus up at the top, right below the 12 or 24 index, whatever you want to call it. And then right below the hand stack, right above the 6 o'clock, it says 24, because that's the name of this watch, 5 ATM, because you're getting 50 meters of water resistance. Very large hands on here. The second hand is an arrow. It reaches the outermost portion of the dial. There is a minute track there that gets the same texture as the center of the dial, which looks really good as well. You could only see that detail when you get up really close to the dial. And there's a red tip, which is lumed on that second hand. I love that. Fence post hands. Very large amount of lume in those hands. Now, obviously, you can't lume the dial on here. Well, you can lume the dial. You can't lume the indices because they do change every 12 hours. So, unfortunately, you don't get fully lumed indices. You do get little triangles behind each one of the indices. Those are lumed. We'll do a lume shot towards the end of the video. This is the 38 millimeter version, so it measures just under 38 millimeters according to my caliper. So I measured 37.9 millimeters, 11.8 millimeters thick, and then you have a lug to lug of about 45 millimeters. It's actually just under 45 millimeters at 44.8 millimeters, again, according to my calipers. I have the crown popped here so that you could see the functionality. The functionality is extremely easy. You can see it's set to 24 hours right now. So at the 12 o'clock position, it is 24. It is not a 12. When you advance the time, you just have to pull it out into the first position and then just go forward and you'll see it will switch over. And it's a very satisfying click, I have to say. It feels very, very good when you do it. And you keep on going. So now it's a 12-hour dial. Keep going. It goes back to 24, or the remainder of the 24-hour dial, and that's it. It's very simple. very easy to use. It kind of just makes sense. I don't know why this wasn't thought of before. On my wrist today, I have hands down my favorite Arabus currently that they make. Although the one that we're looking at today is very cool, but I am more partial to dive watches. This is the Titan in blue. It is awesome. I have to say, I absolutely love this watch. I'm going to be making a full video on this because it's just really cool. It's very robust. It feels like a very big tool watch on the wrist. It's 44 millimeters. It wears large, but I don't know, something about a big diver. I love it. This is just really cool. And there is the 24 on my 7.5 inch wrist. This is 11.8 millimeters thick, just under 45 millimeters lug to lug. And it's around 38 millimeters, just under 38 millimeters. I have a 7.5 inch wrist. And of course, it wears really nicely on my wrist. It wears like a 38 millimeter watch. It's not too thick. The lug to lug is really nice because you have these lugs that sort of turn down. You have drilled lugs, so you could easily switch to a bracelet. Currently, I don't think they make a bracelet for this watch, but they are making like 10 different colors or 9 different colors. But again, this is my favorite color. I really like this brown. They make a black, like a traditional looking field watch. This is kind of more of a traditional looking field watch, and they make some other wild colors as well. So if you're interested in something like that, they have that. If you want something more traditional, they're making those as well. So like I was saying, it's hard to lume a dial like this because the indices are hiding below the dial most of the day. So obviously you're not going to be able to lume each one of the indices. They are not applied. It's not truly a sandwich dial. It's more like a dial with a sandwich portion being that disc, right? So you can't really lume that portion, unfortunately. But you do have a lot of lume on the hands, so the hands are very liberally applied with lume. You can see that your watch is working in the dark because you do have that little arrow on the tip of that seconds hand, and that has a lot of lume in it. You can see it's working really, really well. There are little triangles behind each one of the indices. However, you know, there's not a lot of real estate there. They are lumed and they are lumed well, but again, there's not a lot of real estate to apply the lume, so it's not extremely bright. Price on this is $499, currently in pre-order. I believe they're going to be delivering these pretty quickly, so if you are interested in these, definitely check them out on their website. I think you pay half now and then half before delivery, but I think that will go pretty quickly. $499 I think is a pretty good price for this, considering that it is a Miyota 9000 series, sapphire crystal, really nicely made. All Arabus watches are really nicely made and feel a lot more expensive than they actually are. And this one is not all that expensive. I think this comes with 2 straps. I only have 1, but I think it does come with 2 straps as well. So definitely something to keep in mind, which is obviously a very good thing. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. I will add a link to all of the different colors down in the description. Definitely check it out if you are interested. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for logging on. And thank you for Jody for sending this watch over. It's a really beautiful watch. And thank you for sending it over for me to check out. That's really it, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next video.